Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Boost! I'm YouTube famous now. Available in 2020. The album, Dad AF. There's no business like the beauty industry, business like the beauty industry, business I know. All right, let's get into that video. Let's talk about Miss Tati's video. Look, my face is getting so red. Woo! I need to give a very special thank you, a heartfelt thank you to Miss Tati Westbrook, Lamb Life Guru herself, for releasing the video today. And not yesterday, on my birthday, so that I could enjoy my birthday yesterday. Thank you, Tati. I appreciate it. All right, listen. I woke up to many text messages from people saying, have you seen Tati's video? It had only been out like 20 minutes. So I was like, oh. I woke up, sat outside, watched this video. My phone kept on freezing on Twitter because I just couldn't even read the tweets because it's like every time I went into it, I was getting so many tweets and DMs. It was freezing. People were saying this, people were saying that. It was a lot, okay? So I want to go in and I want to talk about Tati's video in just a second. She did a video. Her video is called Breaking My Silence. It has 482,000 views. It's been up for 2 hours. It has 110,000 likes and 31,000 dislikes. And I have a belief as to why that is. Because immediately after this video was uploaded, Shane Dawson took to Twitter and he posted a tweet, which is now deleted. So he has now entered the realm of the tweet and deleters. And he said, this, in all caps, is a effing lie, and I am losing my mind. He then took to a live stream where he was walking around his house like this, listening to it. Those are fake tears! Those are fake tears! I'm starting to get embarrassed for these grown adults, okay? Those are fake tears! Well, you should know, okay? If anybody should know, Shane, you should know. Shane should know about fake tears and fake apologies and everything else, okay? And all of that. So, then Rylan Adams, he took to the Twitter and he said, Tati Westbrook. Now, I have to like read this in my own because Rylan's tweet is so grammatically incorrect. Tati Westbrook, a masterclass in manipulation. Which I guess, at this point, Rylan would probably know since he lives with a master manipulator. The only which I'm stating from the previous 2 weeks of what we have seen, nothing to do with this video, okay? Which is interesting to me that Shane is more concerned with Tati Westbrook coming out and telling the world. Okay, Shane Dawson is more concerned that Tati Westbrook just said that he orchestrated this whole thing or was part of that. He's more concerned about that than this mass content that has come out in the last 2 to 3 weeks that he has been making money off of for the last couple years. He made CNN. CNN covered the story of all of these things about Shane Dawson. It's on every major newspaper right now. But he's more concerned about Tati Westbrook and what she has to say. Very telling to me, just saying. But anyway, I digress. Back to Rylan Adams. Rylan Adams said, Tati Westbrook, a masterclass in manipulation. He was in the background of the live too, going off. The only way to save her reputation was to side with the person she'd tried to ruin. Make no mistake, this 40-year-old woman chose to post a video on her own accord. She riled up Shane before doing so to have one of the biggest creators backing her, and the chances all backfired. Shane very well would have posted a video exposing James had he felt so inclined. No receipts because she didn't want to expose the countless times she told Shane that she was a big girl doing this only for herself. So to Rylan Adams, the fiance of Shane Dawson, my only question is this. You have an issue with Tati Westbrook coming out against her husband, but you don't have an issue with any of these things your fiance, husband has done in the last couple weeks? Like those, because you've been silent up till now. But this is it. Grown folk playing house over here. All of them. The whole lot of them, okay? It's just all of it a mess, okay? Not to mention, if Tati does release these receipts, and they do come out, because what she said in her video directly contradicts what, Shane said in his 5-page essay of see you later. She has the receipts to back this, which Marlene Estelle just came out and said, hold on, let me get this. Marlene Estelle just came out and said she's telling the truth and the receipts are real. So, Nikita Dragon, what did she have to say? She said, "Dear Karma, do your thing, girl." So, there's a lot of people that are speaking out about this, a lot of people that know behind the scenes, and I think we're going to hear a lot more to come in the next couple of days, right? Do I think it was all planned behind the scenes? I don't know, okay? I have no clue. I'm not in that. She says in her video, decide what side of the truth you're on, okay? Listen, I'm on my truth, okay? I'm on Peter Monn's truth. I want, subpoena me, subpoena me, okay? I listen, I don't know nothing. I don't talk to these people. I don't know these people. I don't go to the grocery store with these people. I don't eat the Chinese buffet with, I don't know her, okay? I don't know none of these people. This is just my opinion over here, see? So anyway, but Ryland doesn't have a problem with all these 900 different things that Shane Dawson did. He has a problem with what Tati Westbrook came out, which she says that she has all of these receipts that she is now protected in, I think she said they're protected at the Pentagon. Did she say at the Pentagon? What's the fort place where they keep all the gold? Is that Fort Worth? I don't know. I'm not very good at Trivial Pursuit. But anyway, but I'm good at food reviews, so go check out my food review channel. But she said she's got it all and downloaded on a file. Okay, all these receipts and things she has. Okay, so let's get into this video. First of all, she says that back in December of 2019, I think it is, that she and James compared notes and apologized to each other, okay? So what that leads me to believe is that she and James sat down, she apologized to James, she said she's always loved James, she feels real bad about it. But I will say this was interesting. She never retracted her statement from the video, okay? This is important. She didn't come out and say, what I said in the video wasn't true. She never said that. She said what words she didn't use. She deflected upon Jeffree Star and said, she said, I never said somebody was a danger to society, basically deflecting that to Jeffree Star, because Jeffree Star did say that James Charles was a danger to society. She said she didn't use certain P words in her... She didn't, okay? But she doesn't back away from what she said in her video. She holds to that, right? What she goes in and talks about is why she made the video. Now, I have to tell you that what I indirectly took, and just let me know if somebody else got this from the video, if just even one person, maybe I'm the only one, but what I got that she was saying was that she shared certain privileged information with Shane Dawson about her own personal life, okay? Situations that she had gone through, which Shane and Jeffree supposedly were alleging that James was doing the same thing, and so that they emotionally manipulated her basically into saying, like, you've got to make this video because you personally have gone through something yourself like this. That's what I took from what she was saying, okay? Did you all catch that? That's what I thought she was saying. So anyway, she goes in there and she talks about this whole James Charles thing and that he wanted to sit next to her in the video and all that kind of stuff. Y'all listen, I think people would have started sending door telegrams if James Charles and Tati Westbrook had sat down next to a video. But I'm going to tell you something right now, okay? Push Tati into a corner with these receipts. If Jeffree and Shane, Jeffree's not saying anything. He's still over there living his best life, okay? Up in Hogwarts, you know, with his magic wand ruining people's lives. He's not saying anything about this, okay? He is, because he probably is like, what the hell does Tati Westbrook have on me? What do all of these people have? And now they're all ready to come out, right? Do I think this whole thing is planned behind the scenes and that all these people are collectively coming together? B. Lucille said this in her tarot card reading, that they're all planning this together and then Tati's released her video and now other people are going to come out? Maybe. This game plan doesn't surprise me one bit with these beauty influencers anymore, okay? Do I think that there could be a lot of conversations behind that? Yep, that could completely be true. But it also means that, like, last year was contrived and planned, okay? None of them are innocent! None of them! I said this in my video the other day, okay? They're all complicit in this. All of them. Now, maybe some more than others, honestly, but, you know, they're all complicit in it. But maybe they are scared, you know? She said she had to relocate, she was terrified for her life and all this kind of stuff. Why? I wish these people would come out, like Gabby Hanna and her and all these people that are afraid for their lives, to speak out. Why? Blair White, why? Why are you scared to speak out? Have you received threats? Has somebody made you feel that way? Like, what is that about? Anyway, Okay, so, but I would be interested in that. Like, you know, maybe it's, I mean, Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson are huge people in the YouTube community as well as, like, powerful people in the world, okay? Like, I've always said this with these massive YouTubers. If you really think about it, if they, like, wanted to change the vote in a country, they could, okay? With saying, this is the person you need to vote for. I mean, just think about it. Like, they have the power, okay? They have a lot of power out there, so... I can't even wink. If somebody said to me, wink twice if you're being held hostage, I couldn't even do it. But if they said, flip a fan twice if your life's in danger, I'm a drama channel. Nobody cares about me. You in danger, girl. Okay, getting my rumpled notes going on out here. I was outside and I had to chase after the dogs and I grabbed my notes like that, okay? Can't even read them at this point. So then she goes in and she talks about how Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star led her poisonous lies. She doesn't say what it is. She doesn't really release a lot of receipts in this video, but she said she will maybe. She might come back. And I think that next video might be her and James Charles sitting down next to each other. And then Shane Dawson will really lose it at that point. Then she comes out and she says that and this was actually, as a drama channel, one of the parts that was really interesting to me. My battery is getting really low, so I may have to stop and change it. She says that there was no legal involved. Nobody told her she had to take down her video. That she took it down because YouTube said that it was a bad look for the platform, and that's why she took it down. Apparently, YouTube had an issue with the Bi Sisters video. They didn't have an issue with Shane Dawson and all of his previous videos that they were making money off. So I just... Then she goes in and she apologizes to Jackie Aina, which I thought was very, very nice. She says, I always liked you, all that kind of stuff. Then she goes in here, which, you know, is interesting to me that she brought Jackie Aina up in this whole situation. And she referenced the video that she did with Jeffree, which I've actually talked a lot about recently, where she was in the plane. And the day, and I always, like, kept on forgetting why that video was so controversial, you know? And why Tati got a lot of hate for it. And it was because the day before was when Jeffree Star had, like, come out, or a couple days before, against Jackie Aina and called her such horrible names and questioned her not filing her taxes and all this kind of stuff. You know, and so, like, and people just, like, quickly forget that, you know? They just, like, completely forget that there's another person, you know, at the hand of Jeffree Star, but that was okay. Back then, when it happened to Jackie Aina, it was okay, but now it's not. Goes on, she said she believed that Jeffree had changed. She talks about trying to empower him through this organization that she talks about at the end. It's called Spirit Awakening, which is to help at-risk youth. Which, by the way, at the end of the video, she put all these ads in the video, and I thought people are either going to come for her for the ads or she's donating the money, and we're going to find it out. At the end of it, she says all proceeds from the AdSense go to Spirit Awakening, which is a organization charity for at-risk youth, which I thought was really nice. She said that Jeffree is really scary because he has so much information on other creators and brand owners. If that is true, you in danger. I'm like just saying, listen, okay? That's scary. Okay. Number 6. She talked about James and that for the last year before, like, it all came out, like, all Jeffree would want to talk about is James Charles. Now, we've heard about that from Cam Lester, and everybody said Cam was the liar of the world. We've heard about that from, you know, all these other people that are now coming out and saying that all Jeffree Star wanted to talk about was James Charles, James Charles, James Charles, okay? So I don't know about all that. Now, I do know that way back in the day when I was talking to Jeffree Star, which was, like, probably a year before, a year before the Bi Sisters video came out. I don't even remember the last time I talked to Jeffree Star. Well, I guess I could look in here and tell you. Because I do have all those receipts. Hold on a second, please. Let me look that up. I could probably tell you the last time I talked to Jeffree Star was... But I remember that he used to text me and he would say, oh, here he is, right here. Okay, Jeffree Star, messages. The last time I talked to him was November 11th of 2018. But he leaves all these voicemail notes. See, I have mine right there. So anyway, but just saying, in case something should happen to me. But he would send me little information and he would say things like, it would be like James Charles would tweet and like 2 seconds later, it would be like some problematic tweet and he'd be like, are you going to say something about this? He was consumed with James Charles completely. And so then she talks about her meeting with Shane, and that Shane said that James was a monster, and that he had many victims, and all these kinds of things. You know, what's interesting to me about this is that whether she's telling the truth or not, I don't know, okay? Maybe this is a whole contrived, manipulative thing. Who knows, right? I don't know about any of these people anymore. But the language is starting to be kind of consistent across the board. Victims, we know Jeffree Star didn't know the word victims until he got with Chris Hansen, because, you know, he called them victims, and Chris Hansen called them survivors, right? So that's a Jeffree Star word. But all these words that, you know, that are kind of consistent. Monster is a word that's coming up a lot to me. It's like, that's interesting to me. When I start hearing like the same kind of words being used over and over and over again, is my phone tapped? Is my phone tapped? Jeffree? Allegedly, conspiracy speculation. Okay, so let's move on. She said that Shane offered to edit and make a thumbnail of the Bye Sister video. If that is true, and she has receipts of that, I think, Tati, you just need to start dropping these receipts on Twitter like that, okay? If you have that receipt, you need to come out with that receipt. Why can't you release that legally, okay? A text message that says that. Why can't you release that? What's legal telling you can't release that for? I want to see that receipt, because if he really did say that, then that whole thing that he just came out with, those 5 pages, are an absolute lie. And I do think that she is going to come out with the receipts and back this all up. I do. Marlene Estelle said it. And I believe Marlene Estelle. She had her own Netflix show, you know that? James didn't like that. Then she goes in here and she says that when she reached out to Shane and said that, but when the Bye Sisters video came out, that she was very worried about him, that Shane told her that he was a narcissist and wouldn't do that. And I'm like, you know, like, it kind of like at this point, like with this whole like narcissist word throwing him around, it's like, you know, it takes one to know one, don't you think, I mean, Shane? But Shane talks about everybody behind the back. I mean, when I met with him, he called his closest friends pathological liars and psychopaths. All of them. So, that's a true story. You can ask everybody that was sitting there in the circle, including my husband. He heard it. Okay. Then, that was my first sign, honestly, that I was like, I want no part of this world, in all honesty. And if you go back and you watch my vlogs, that was in Las Vegas. And then I went out to Los Angeles on 2 separate occasions. And by the second trip, I was like, I don't want to come back here. Like, I don't want any part of this world. This world chews you up and spits you out, okay? And I don't want any part of it. I will also say this in regards to a lot of things that she's alleging. I have experienced myself on a very small level with feeling kind of betrayed by Shane Dawson. It was something something totally stupid, and like him manipulating the situation, but also being like, don't be mad, it's okay, don't be mad, right? And it's a completely stupid situation, but it's like collectively over time I started seeing these things, and I was like, you know, I'm not like 20 years old. Like, maybe when I was 20 I would have bought this, but like, I'm a grown adult. Like, I've been screwed over by many people in my life, okay? And I myself have probably screwed over quite a few people. So it's like, when you see it happening to you, you're like, no, I'm much quicker in catching on these days, so like, no. And so when people say to me, you used to love Shane, I did. I used to love Shane before I started seeing who he really is, okay? And now that I see who he really is, it makes me tend to believe a lot of what Tati said, because it's kind of like looking at a puzzle and there are pieces missing that you've always wanted to know. And then, like, especially behind the scenes, like, there were times in this video where I felt like she wasn't even talking to her audience, that I felt like she was specifically talking to drama channels and creators, because they would be the only ones that would know as far as a lot of the background noise that has been going on. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching this video, and it's almost kind of like looking at a puzzle, and you're like, well, that fits, and that makes sense, and this makes sense. So it's like, okay, well, I don't know if it's true, but it makes sense. Like, it could be true. Is that her being highly manipulative? I don't know. It's going to take more people coming out to collaborate her story and receipts being released, and so we'll have to see, you know? But then she says that once the video was out, their friendships was over, and she never heard from them again. She was really, really hurt by that. And that she even bought into the conspiracy that, hold on a second. I have to put on my lip gloss for this one, because this is so good. Tati believed that this was a social experiment. Girl, we're not playing lemonade stand, okay? Like, listen, I talk about lemonade stands in my vlog the other night. We're not talking about lemonade stands, okay? This isn't like Susie takes over Judy's lemonade stand down the street for $5 and she raises her prices to 10 cents a cup, okay? These are serious allegations and things that you are saying, okay? I got maybe underneath my videos back about the Shane deal and all the drama and everything going on that maybe 5 or 10 people saying that they thought this was a conspiracy theory. I also got people that said that they thought this was how James was buying into the Illuminati, that he had to be disgraced, and that are all these people in the Illuminati? I would believe that more than thinking that Shane Dawson is so genius that this is a social experiment. And I want to tell you something else, because she comes out and said she thought she was going to end up being made the fool and all this. If I have to sit on video and eat my words, and this comes out that Tati, Jeffree, James, Shane, Nikita Dragon, Marlena Stell, all these people are involved, and this is this huge social experiment to prove what social media and all this stuff does, I ain't gonna feel like no fool. I'm not going to feel like a fool. I won't sit on here and say I feel like a fool. I won't say anything other than, how dare you people do this to your audiences? This is how you treat your audiences. That's disgusting. And I'm starting to feel that way anyway, quite frankly, about this whole mess. It's just too much. Just come out and own your truth and let us all move on and decide who we want to support, okay? Don't be putting out these cryptic tweets anymore. I'm so tired of it. Don't be coming on a video, and I liked Tati's video. I have to say, I felt like watching this video like, yes, finally some truths are coming out. That's how I felt, wanting to know things for the last year, but at the same time, it was like this, and then there wasn't stuff to back it up, so who knows, right? And she knew that this was going to happen. And I know that she's bound up in legal, and she could only say so much that her lawyer told her, and I was surprised that she said Shane and Jeffree's name through the whole thing. I mean, this is going to be so ugly behind the scenes, and we'll probably never find out what happens, but anyway. So then she said that Shane never shared the trailer with her, which he said that he did. And he also said he shared it with James Charles. And James Charles' friend came out and said that she was sitting right next to him when Shane shared the trailer with him. And he said, please don't put the drama in it because I just want to heal from my wounds. And Shane said he was putting it in there anyway. So there's 2 different people collaborating in that story. And then it goes on, and she says that she has all kinds of legal info that they will one day present. She doesn't say that. She says, like, the first she says that one day we will present it, and then later she says we might present it. So I don't know what that means. And then she said that she believes the reason behind this is that Jeffree Star was intimidated by James Charles' growth, and that Shane didn't want him to make a documentary. Now, I do have some personal information about this, and I'm going to share, because I'm sure a lot of people are like, what is she talking about that with James Charles making a documentary? Okay, I had to change my battery. All right, now this is something that I do know something about, okay? James Charles reached out to me, and he reached out to another drama channel to be part of a documentary that he was putting together, okay? The documentary was supposed to be, and this was probably 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. He actually contacted me while I was in a live stream and said, check your DMs. He came on there with his friend Anthony, and he was very excited, and he said, because I had made a comment, and like, I think it was on Twitter or on a live stream or something, and I said I would love to be something like the Anderson Cooper of the beauty influencer community, and I would love to interview all of these people, right? Have them sit down and interview them. Or this was way before any of this stuff came out. So James contacted me, and he wanted to do this supposed 10+ part series, okay? And it was going to be about the life of a beauty influencer, and it was going to start from how he started his career, all of this stuff that happened at the beginning. It was going to be about how he taught himself how to do makeup, things like that. It was going to be on and on and on. And it was going to be about the building of his palette with Morphe. That was a huge part of it, okay? We were going to only be one part of it. We were going to fly out to LA. It was going to be like 2 days that we were there. And we were going to sit down, and we were going to sit down with James, and we were going to interview James from a drama channel point of view, and then he was going to interview us as like what it was to be drama channel, things like that, okay? This thing got so huge and involved with just the drama channel part that at one point it was going to be like the drama channels against like Tati and Jeffree Star and all these beauty influencers, right? And it got very, very messy, and we weren't super comfortable with it at that point. And so James said, well, Shane has agreed to come in and mediate this, right? Because of course Shane Dawson's the one that can come in and he can fix everything. He can't fix what's going on with him right now, but he can fix everything else. So he wanted to come in and he wanted to fix this thing, right? Well, we started feeling real uncomfortable with this situation, okay? So we pulled back, and we said, we don't want to be part of that if it's going to be all these other people. Like, we'll do it if it's us and you, but other than that, we don't want to do that, okay? So this was exactly 2 summers ago, because I was getting ready to leave for the Dominican Republic. And I was going to fly out there like on a Friday night. We were going to film all day Sunday, and I was going to fly out, or all day Saturday. I was going to fly out Saturday night, get in Sunday morning, and then I was going to fly to the Dominican Republic with my husband, okay? So at the last minute, this whole thing, fell down the tubes. He decided that he didn't want to go through with it, and he said that Jeffree and Shane told him that this probably wasn't a good idea, that he should just move on. He goes, I've decided not to do it. I'm going to do something else, blah, 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 whatever. I don't know anything other than that, but I do know that at that time, he was getting along with Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star, and that was, Shane and Jeffree told him to not go forward. And this is like after, like, I think that he had gone in and done Shane's makeup for the Jeffree thing. Do you remember that? Or like Shane had been Jeffree for a day or whatever. So like he did know Shane, and he did look up to Shane, and he was asking Shane for advice on this series and things like that, okay? So this, and I can remember talking to James on the phone, and I said, this is going to be really cool, but like as a drama channel and somebody that watches this, like I want to see the behind the scenes of how a palette is made. Like not just Kylie Jenner, like, oh, here's my, you know, what do you call it? Here's my factory, or here's my warehouse, or, you know, the laboratory, but like I actually want to see each step, like how you pick the colors, how you name the colors, what goes into the making the eyeshadow palette. He goes, that's all going to be in there. He was very excited about it, okay? Just to end this whole series, because Shane and Jeffree supposedly talked him out of it. Now, I don't know anything else about that other than that, right? But to turn around a year later or 2 years later and Shane and Jeffree put out this series, that is exactly that. Minus like the building up to the, but if you remember the very beginning, Shane said he wanted to do a series on the beauty industry, and it ended up just being the selling of this palette. James told me that when he did it, the last episode was going to be him dropping the palette. That was going to be the last episode of this thing, right? Don't tell me like that was not a stolen idea. That was 100% a stolen idea, okay? It's and people wonder why behind the scenes we think certain things about people, okay? So anyway, she then goes in and talks about Morphe, and that Jeffree is supposedly co-owner, allegedly, conspiracy speculations, I don't know, that he is co-owner, she says co-owner of Morphe, which would make sense, like why he has so much money, you know, like, but on top, I mean, he has, because of the killer merch, yes, and because of his makeup sales, yes, but I mean, we're talking about on a gross scale money, right? If that's true, and she talked about the pills coming out, the hair and nail, I'm so tired of hearing about those hair and nail pills, I could just vomit, to be honest with you, okay? I don't care, okay? Go buy you some mane and hair and biotin, okay? That's what you need, okay? Seriously, I'm just saved you $40, okay? It's probably $5 collectively. Your hair and your nails will grow, okay? Just eat a lot of fat like I do, and your hair and nails grow anyway. So she goes in about this whole thing, and that she feels like there were a lot of people to gain off of this. And then she goes in and she talks about civil action, and she says, you don't want to be on the wrong side of the truth. Girl, subpoena me. Subpoena this one right here. Woo! Girl, I got a true crime book club. Let me in that courtroom. I want to be in that courtroom. Can you imagine? No, well, this is civil action, but can you imagine being subpoenaed? Or not subpoenaed, but if you were on the jury duty of that? Oh my God, all these beauty influencers together and what they would wear and all that kind of stuff and come up there. And they'd all just have receipts. Whitney receipts. But anyway, they probably asked me to come to court, and every time a receipt was like, you know, issued, they'd say, document 4325, we are entering it into court. And I go, receipts, Whitney! And that was what I'd say on the side. But anyway, sounds like she is taking legal action. I heard her in the video say, even though she didn't say it, I'm taking legal action, so watch out. Watch out where you stand. Dot your P's and Q's or whatever, and watch where you stand, okay, on all this. And that she is going to come out with more, supposedly. She's going to have to. I mean, she's going to have to come out with a follow-up video. She wants to get back to what she loves. She doesn't know when she... I mean, how are you going to drop this? Like, for me, it was like, okay, I'm seeing a lot of people on the internet say this is another thing for Tati to gain sympathy and all this kind of stuff. You have to be somebody that really craves sympathy on a deep level to put up a video like this knowing that you're going to be ripped to shreds, okay? Like, let's just be for real. Like, I don't know what world we live in, okay? I don't live in Jeffree Star's Hogwarts. I just don't, okay? His magic wand has no power on this one, okay? Maybe it has power on everybody else, but it doesn't have power on me. I live in reality. I don't know a lot of people that come back from a long absence with a 20-minute contrived video for sympathy. I just don't, okay? What I do know is somebody that, knowing Tati and watching her for a long time and how she acts, other than the Bye Sisters video, she could have just stepped back in and said, I've taken some time to myself, I've just reflected on my life, blah, 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 you know, whatever. and she could have just moved on. She could have taken 6 more months off. Who knows, okay? But I think that we have to kind of live in reality about what her motive and intention was in this. And she wants vindication. She wants to be justified, sure, right? I mean, I think a lot of people do. I think there's probably a line to vindication and justification by the people that Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson have hurt along the way. And I'm going to talk about that in my next video because I have another video to film today. So I love you guys, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. I don't know what to believe, in all honesty. I feel like there's just, do you know like when you like get a hot chocolate at a gas station and it kind of like tastes like hot water that has like hot chocolate like watering in it, or hot chocolate like flavoring in it, but it doesn't taste like hot chocolate, and it has like marshmallows but they're hard and they're not very good? That's what all this truth is to me. It's like it kind of smells like the truth, but it isn't really the truth because I don't see the truth in it. And I'm talking about Shane and Jeffree as far as Tati. I don't know, okay? I don't know if it's the finest hot chocolate in the entire world and I just can't taste it, or if it's gas station hot chocolate. I don't know. So y'all let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.